Hey guys, Strive for Answers coming at you from London in the United Kingdom. Meant to be the first day of spring today. It's still pretty damn cold, but anyway, we're going to make this video anyway because what I want to discuss with you is a very important topic. Actually, it's a cornerstone of masculinity, and that is that as a guy, you will only be judged on your results, okay? The only thing that matters in the end is your results. Nobody cares about how you got there. Nobody cares about you on the journey. Nobody cares about your hero's journey or your sob story. Well, they might do if you're trying to sell a course or a book or something, but for the most part they don't. Certainly women don't. Nobody cares about the trials and tribulations that you had to endure in order to achieve whatever it is you set out to achieve. All that fucking matters in the end is whether you got there or not. All that matters is whether you achieved satiation in terms of your desires, your dreams, your goals, and whether you have the ability to show that in some kind of physical, actual way, okay? And if you don't, and if you haven't got there, then sorry man, you've lost in the game of life and you are left on the sidelines. And that's just kind of the way it is, bro. This is true, of course, in any endeavor, all right? So if we're thinking about, okay, so I'd like to date attractive women, and in order to do that, I know it is useful to be somebody who has resources, or at least, even if I'm not actively spending money on these women, and I wouldn't encourage that in any, over-the-top way, but nevertheless, a display of resources is always useful, as we know, for biological reasons, if nothing else. Then you've got to think, okay, so how am I going to achieve that? Well, what line of work am I going to go into? What sort of business am I going to have? How am I going to stack that cash, basically? And once more, you then set up yourself the task of doing that. You set yourself the task of achieving what you're seeking to achieve, which is to make a lot of money, and maybe to, get some nice clothes, live a decent lifestyle, and all the rest of it. You work on that. Now, do you get there or do you not get there? It's a pretty binary thing. Actually, that's not true. It's not a binary thing. There are, of course, many shades of grey in the middle. You may aim here, and then you end up coming in here. And, that can be okay. That can be okay. You don't have to be the richest guy in town. You don't have to be the flashiest dude in town, okay? You've leveled up at least, which is good, right? So it's always best to aim high. So, yeah, it's not a zero-sum game by any means. But, nevertheless, in the end, as far as the potential, as far as the goal that you've set yourself, certainly you will either have got there or not. So if you say, right, I'm going to have 10 million in the bank by the time I'm 35, and then you don't have 10 million in the bank, then you didn't achieve that goal. Now, you might have 5 million in the bank, and that still puts you ahead of 99.999% of the rest of the population. And that's great, but you didn't hit the goal, okay? So again, either you get there or you don't get there. Now, to bring this into a more direct dating context, guys will come to this material and they will think, okay, right, so I want to learn to get better with women. I want to learn to date more proficiently. I want to learn how to bring more high quality women into my life. I want to do all of these things, and I'm gonna take the bull by the horns. It's 2024. I'm gonna take the bull by the horns, and I'm gonna start working on this stuff, and I'm gonna do self-development, and I'm gonna watch a bunch of videos, and I'm gonna really level up. Okay, and guys will start in that endeavor, and I'd encourage that. That's fantastic. I mean, that's the journey we all took, really, and it's the journey that you need to take. And often, unfortunately, they will get so embroiled or engrossed in reading material or watching videos or listening to podcasts or watching podcasts with people arguing, sitting around a table arguing about different aspects of modern dating and women's expectations and things, that they won't actually go out and approach any women. They won't actually go out and learn to be social and start to do the work, as you might say. They won't actually, when it comes down to it, they don't actually put any effort in. They just sit there, they consume the content, and they feel like they're doing something. And I was listening actually to the Ryan Holiday book last night, Ego is the Enemy, which is a really good book actually. I'd recommend it if you haven't read it yet. And there's a part in that where he says the problem with, he's referring to talking actually, but the same thing goes I think for thinking. The problem is that the more that you talk about, or let's say think about, or procrastinate over the specific thing you're trying to do. It feels to you, on a subconscious level, like you've done some work. It feels like you've done something, okay? It's sort of like, look, I've been watching videos about dating for 5 hours now. Surely that must count for something, right? Surely that's got to count for something. I've done a load of work today. But what you haven't done is you haven't done the most important thing of all, which is actually go up and talk to somebody that you find attractive of the opposite sex, okay? And that is the only thing that's going to turn the dial, okay? So there is this sort of analysis paralysis situation that guys get into where they just go around this rabbit hole of content, not actually doing anything, and it feels good, okay? Particularly if you join a group or a forum. You know, we have people in our private WhatsApp groups, for example. You can join my WhatsApp group if you want to. Email me Troy@realtroyfrancis.com and I'll get you in. I've got a Telegraph private channel as well, so you can message me about that. But you know, guys love to sit there and theorize and masticate, not masturbate, and just go over and over the different things. Why are women like this? Why are they like that? Why do they do that? Why do they not do that? You know, and it just goes on and it's endless. And these guys are just sitting there with their dick in their hand, not actually doing the one thing that is going to turn the dial on their dating life, which is going up to a member of the opposite sex, starting a conversation, flirting and bantering a bit, and then asking for her phone number, okay? And ultimately that is what you need to do. Now, again, so you look at your dating life and you think, well, okay, I'm watching all this content, but I'm not approaching. But then what if you are approaching and you're going on dates, or you're getting numbers and things like this, but it's not really leading anywhere? You know, you're not getting tangible results, okay? You're not either having casual flings, if that's what you're looking for, or you're not in a serious relationship yet, if that's what you were looking for, okay? Well, clearly there's something wrong, because that kind of is a zero-sum game to a large extent. It's not enough to say, well, she smiled at me in the club, or she kissed me, or I could tell by the way she hugged me that she liked me, but then she went home and she said, oh, I don't want to see you again, or whatever, and then she ghosted me. But I know, you know, and I have two ways of looking at this. On the one hand, yes, it can be good in the beginning stages to sort of take comfort from the small scraps of positivity that come our way, okay? Because we need something to keep us going. We need to keep the positivity alive. However, in the end, it really does kind of come down to, did you get the girl or not? Or did you get a girl or not? And if the answer is no, then, you know, there's still work to be done, because this is not something that we're just practicing in theory, okay? This is about actual results, and it's about obtaining actual results for yourself. And if you don't obtain them, then likely there's something wrong and you need to go back to the drawing board, okay? So that could be coaching with somebody like me, that could be, you know, either Zoom or doing something in person, face to face. So I would highly encourage you to just take a look at your life and take a look at where you aspire to be with the dating stuff and other aspects as well, and think, well, being honest with myself, am I actually there? I mean, I'm doing all of this talking, I'm doing all of this deep philosophizing about this stuff, but am I actually where I want to be? And if the answer to that is no, then understand that more work is required, okay? Now, if you want to jump on a free call with me, you can absolutely do that. There's a link below, so you can book an appointment with me. We can have a conversation with this. You can also drop me an email, troy@realtroyfrancis.com, and we can get a time slot sorted out and figure out if there's some coaching options that could work for you. But regardless, you need to actually be getting there. It's not good enough to be an also-ran. You have to be winning the race, at least some of the time. All right, I'll leave it there. Speak soon. Bye.